Alright, what's going on, everybody? Want to hit on something quick about the Onward research sling. Alright, we got all this stuff laid out because there's a bunch of stuff that we're working on. We got a couple videos we're hitting tonight, but this one right now is on the Onward research sling. For y'all that are unfamiliar, Onward Research is Garand Thumb's company, or for some of y'all like crazy fans, y'all know him by his real name, Mike Jones, right? Mike Jones! Anyway, so I like the sling real quick. I'm just going to say it off top, but instead of hitting all the specs, because it's a sling, right? I'm just going to give you a quick experience on it and what my experience has like led to form my opinion on it. So first off, I got the sling and I was extremely happy. Shipping was like 4 days after ordering, so I mean that's a big plus for me that I didn't have to wait forever. I figured that ordering anything from his company with how hyped up he is on the internet, for good reason, I figured it was just going to take like 2 weeks. To my surprise and my happiness, I didn't have to wait that long. So immediately started getting to work with some dry fire. It came with a tab. If you look at it right now, which I'll get some close-up pictures, there is no pull tab on there at all anymore. So the reason for that is it's kind of like a rubbery material. That rubbery material, when I was doing some dry fire, this was like the 3rd day, it shredded off. It ripped off, okay? And you can see the wear marks on there from obvious use, right? So I was a little unhappy with that, but it's not a big deal because as I'll show you on camera, I actually didn't use the pull tab anyway. I used my my pointer finger, right, or my thumb. It's one of the two. I would just leverage it, and I'll show you that on camera. So it wasn't a big deal. I hit up Mike about it, and Mike was like, hey, thank you for letting me know. If you want to, in the time being, you can just wrap some 550 cord through there. A couple other people said so, and it's a good idea, but I just don't need it, so I just kept it the way it was. So more time goes on. I've had it for about 2, maybe 3 months now, maybe a month and a half, in between a month and a half, 3 months. And I've started to realize a couple different things about it. One, it's silky smooth, okay? So to me, that I didn't know how I was gonna like that, but what I have found, when you're in kit, right, everybody's kit is different, but I like it because it's not that hard to move around, right? It doesn't sound like a big deal, but like with the Blue Force sling, it's a little bit rougher. The Warrior Poet Society sling, big fan. That one's a little bit rougher. The Pharaoh Concepts is really good, but it is a little bit rougher. It is smoother than the Blue Force and the Warrior Poet. So I was pleasantly surprised by the material, and it does seem to take the abuse from those metal teeth on the buckle, right? Whatever it's called, the slide mechanism. It seems to handle those metal teeth well. I don't see any fraying, and I've used this thing a lot. Even if I'm not at the range, I'm doing some kind of dry fire. And I'll get some close-ups of that to show you. There is 0 fraying on there. So I'm a big fan of it. It's a simple 2-point adjustable sling. There's not much you can really get into detail on that. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but I want to say, because I haven't seen any reviews on it yet, I think that it is worth buying. I mean, I think the price is only about $60. So after shipping and tax, you're paying $70. That's about what you're going to pay for something in store for like a Blue Force gear. So I think it's a great option. You know, there's plenty of great options on the market, but if you want to support a good guy, a good company, and you want to try something new, there you go. Now I will say it is the same exact slider as what's on the Pharaoh Concepts. So if you have a Pharaoh Concepts, you can kind of guess how that works. Like I said, they do have a pull tab that didn't break. But yeah, so I highly recommend this sling. I really like it. I wish that I could have, you know, used it in the core. I like our Blue Force sling, but I think that one's better. Plus it's got a cool ass camo on it, you know. If you ain't doing it for the swag, then what the fuck you doing it for? So yeah, man, just wanted to do a quick video on it and say that I highly recommend it. That's really all I have on it because it's a sling. You can't get too deep on some shit, so whatever. Y'all got anything to add to it, you know?
Yeah, so this is his sling. I haven't used it or ran it the way he has, near as in-depth, but I have messed around with it and shot it a little bit. And the one thing I'll say that I like about it is how smooth it is. Like he was saying, it's like super easy to actuate. If there's one negative I can think of, just from my limited time on it, it's that the buckle is metal, and it just clangs around.
It does make a lot of noise. Yeah, that is a good point. It makes a lot of noise.
That's like the only thing really for me that I would change. Like I run the Blue Force sling on mine, and it has a plastic piece which still clings a little bit, but not quite like this, and it's just not as big of a piece, so there's not as much to hit around. But overall I think it's solid. You can always tape this up, or there's a lot of ways to mitigate that, but
yeah, Blake Flannery, speaking of that, has a good video on taping up and silencing different pieces of equipment.
Yeah, that's something you should do with everything. Everything should be quiet, but yeah, and like you said, the camo's dope, but Yeah, I think it's solid. That's just the one thing is the buckle I would change, but I do think it's a solid option. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Something I forgot to add, if you look at the differences on these slings that are on each one, I believe I have the thinnest one out of actual like thickness and width. I believe that this one is the thinnest one. So a couple people have asked me, like, is that affecting your comfort level? Me, no, it's not. And I've ran this slick and I've ran it in kit. And it's not affected my comfort level at all. I prefer it. And as you see, I got a quad rail. I got cloud defensive, heavy, right? I got a cloud defensive on there. I've got a big ass Trijicon Credo, which is a heavy ass 1-8. I got the Unity mount. That's not really an Aero Precision lightweight mount either. So, and I got a heavy ass stock on it. So I've got a rifle that isn't the lightest, and that sling still does great. So I don't think it being thinner is any kind of problem. If anything, I think it's just a little bit nicer because it makes it lighter. Right? I think he found a good balance there. So yeah, highly recommend it, and we'll see you guys again.